Hello and good evening. My name is Xavier Douglas, and I'm here with your Channel I News. White privilege, is it really affecting the Black community? Let's find out. Before we can talk about white privilege itself, we must first understand what is privilege. Privilege is a special, unearned right, advantage, or immunity granted to or available only to a particular person or group of people. We will now go to BuzzFeed for a powerful lesson about privilege.
I once saw a high school teacher lead a simple, powerful exercise to teach his class about privilege and social mobility. He started by giving each student a scrap piece of paper and asked them to crumple it up. Then he moved the recycling bin to the front of the room. He said, "The game is simple. You all represent the country's population, and everyone in the country has a chance to become wealthy and move into the upper class. To move into the upper class, all you must do is throw your wadded up paper into the bin while sitting in your seat." The students in the back of the room immediately piped up saying, "This is unfair." They could see the rows of students in front of them had a much better chance. Everyone took their shots and, as expected, most of the students in the front made it, but not all, and only a few students in the back of the room made it. He concluded by saying, "The closer you were to the recycling bin, the better your odds." This is what privilege looks like. Did you notice how the only ones who complained about fairness were in the back of the room? By contrast, people in the front of the room were less likely to be aware of the privilege they were born into. All they can see is 10 feet between them and their goal. Your job as students who are receiving an education is to be aware of your privilege and use this particular privilege called education to do your best to achieve great things, all the while advocating for those in the rows behind you.
Thank you, BuzzFeed, for that riveting explanation of privilege. Before we continue, I must inform you all that white privilege is not the only type of. Other types of privilege include, but are not limited to, male privilege, able-bodied privilege, American privilege, heterosexual privilege, and educational privilege. White privilege, having its roots in racism, affects us all. If you look back only 51 years ago in American history, the blacks and whites both gained the same amount of rights. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 integrated all of American society, from buses to public schools to water fountains and restrooms. But even after things were integrated, not all Americans gained the same rights. Now, 61 years later, blacks are still treated as second-class citizens and portrayed negatively in the media, despite our having a African American or black, whichever you prefer, president. These instances can be seen as black victims of police brutalities or other brutal crimes are criminalized and shown as thugs, such as the Trayvon Martin case, the Eric Gardner case, and the Michael Brown case. But too many times have white offenders been given a slap on the wrist or a pat on the back and sent on their way. Such as Eric Couch. Eric was a white teenage boy who killed 4 and injured 2 people when he drove drunk in December of 2013. At the end of his trial, Eric was given 10 years of probation by a Texas judge. If you'd like to see more recent evidence, you can look at the Charleston 9 shooting, where Dylan Roof, a supposedly troubled white teenager, went into a Charleston church and shot 9 people, one being a U.S. senator. After the shooting, when he was finally caught, he was allowed to peacefully surrender unto the police. This criminalization in the black community has even started to seep into the minds of our children, as seen through the Clark doll test. Several children were given 2 dolls, one black and one white, and asked to discern which doll was good, which doll was bad, which doll was beautiful, and which doll was ugly. And the results of this test are truly shocking. We'll now go to a quick video on the Clark doll test.
Is the black doll? And which one is the white doll? Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because he's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me.
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
Thank you, MSNBC. But these thoughts of black being bad have been passed down from generation to generation because the Clark doll test was taken in the 1940s. And so there are several, 3 and almost 4 generations of institutionalized hate and pain packed down and transferred down. And that's why even today, black is not seen as beautiful. Only way for a black person to be beautiful in nowadays culture is for them to be light-skinned, or as they say, red bone. And this idolization of red bone or light-skinned people comes from a deep-rooted European ideal of beauty. Oftentimes, blacks are trying to imitate and recreate white standards of beauty with things like perming their hair. Natural is no longer beautiful for black people. We have to have perms and weave. Girls have to have the long flowing hair that is not natural to them. But what's even worse about this is that black features are being idolized in the media, but not when they're on black people. Such as Miley Cyrus, who decided that she would wear dreads, and everyone praised her for her courage and style and her ethnic style that she wore to the VMAs of dreadlocks. But now it seems that when black features or black characteristics are worn by black people, others always assume the worst. For instance, when Zendaya started proudly wearing her dreads, many said her dreads were probably dirty and smelled like cannabis. And the hate for natural-haired black women does not stop there. The internet practically exploded when Beyonce let Blue Ivy wear her natural hair. An online petition was even started to have the child's hair permed. Time and time again, blacks are shamed for who we are naturally, but when Susie, John, and Cindy proudly displayed their flowing golden locks, no one seems to bat an eye. And why does this happen, you ask? It's because people like Susie, John, and Cindy are the majority in this world, and their ancestors have set the tone for the last few centuries on what is beautiful, what is acceptable, and what is right. For the last 51 years, whites have tried to deny having an advantage over blacks when they already had a 400-year head start. And despite all the mountains of research, history, and factual evidence to support the existence of white privilege, many whites still to this day deny the inevitable, quoting reverse racism and affirmative action and other privileges that blacks benefit from, ignoring the fact that such programs seek to level the playing field for blacks and other minorities. Yet there is still light at the end of this tunnel of inequality, and that light, ladies and gentlemen, is the same power that unbalances the scales of inequality. White privilege, if used correctly, can make a difference in the lives of so many. If you, a Caucasian American, see a situation in which your white privilege can change the outcome for the better, it is your duty, your obligation to step in. For with great power comes great responsibility. Whites who truly want to make a difference in this world have to embrace their privilege and use it for the greater good. They must tell the world that yes, I am white, and yes, I do have privilege, but I choose to use my privilege to make a positive difference in today's society. White privilege may be one of the many things that binds the black community, but with its help, blacks can become empowered and uplifted. And now I must bid you goodbye. Until next time, friends, stay tuned for your Channel I News. Are you ready for blooper? Oh, snap. See, I wasn't even trying to get all the way dressed for this. This shirt a little small. This is a little small, but you know it's something I had. Are you ready for bloopers? Damn. Hello, good evening. My name is Xavier Douglas, and I'm here with the Channel I News. White privilege. Is it really affecting the black guy? Before we can talk about break. Okay, I might get it right. I'm gonna do it. The black community and every other all people of color had trouble doing stuff. The civil. We're gonna do this again. Okay. These instances. These instances can be instances. Ugh. White privilege may be one of the many things that. Come on, words, Lord, be fixed. Why is that window open?